Hey, friends, we know this is a tough day. A lot of us did everything we could to be sure this day would never come, that Donald Trump would never again have the power of the presidency in his hands. We are upset. Many of us are scared. We're heartbroken, disillusioned. And we ask you to bring all of that to the next 1,461 days. At Vote Common Good, we are committed to 1,461 days of action and engagement until the end of the Trump administration. Now, each day there will be one less day that we have to wait for the end of the Trump administration. And each day we must do all we can to work to be sure that the impact of the things Donald Trump has promised to do will not find their full force in United States culture and government. Now, look, there's a lot of things to be afraid of. Donald Trump has promised that first hours of his administration, which he might be doing right now, he was going to sign executive orders calling for mass deportation and border actions. Now, that is clearly designed to target certain people in this country, immigrants and those who support them. And we're going to do everything we can to support those people and to prevent those policies from having their full impact. But that's not the end of it. He has promised to do things in drilling, to the ground and to the earth. He's promised to roll back protections. He has promised to act in ways that we know are going to put individuals and the planet in peril. So we ask you to join with us. Now, we're going to ask you to do a lot of things. You know, at Vote Common Good, we do a lot. We travel, we speak, we share ideas, we engage with people. We put together walks. We put together bike rides. We have walked hundreds of miles in unison and unity. We have ridden bicycles across the country. We're not entirely sure what the next 1,461 days will have in store for us, but we know we will be ready. So we ask you to join any way you can, to speak up when it's time to speak up, to stand with those who need to be stood with, to engage those who you know feel left out and left behind and let down. So we're asking you to reach out to those close to you. You know, in the Christian tradition, there is a call to love God, to love yourself, to love your neighbor, and to love your enemy. So we ask you to bring all four of those loves in full force to what you're going to do. I want to tell you a little bit about this heart that I'm wearing around my neck. I bought this in Cuba a couple of weeks ago. On short notice, I ended up going on a trip to Cuba, met some fantastic people who we know also are going to be impacted by what Donald Trump has promised to do to Cuba. But I bought this heart there because it was on a necklace and it would sit right close to my throat. You know that expression that you have your heart in your throat? Sometimes that means you don't know what to say or you feel so caught up that you don't know how to express it because of the overwhelming grief. But it can also mean that everything you do and everything you say will have heart in it. So I'm going to ask you in these 1,461 days to put your heart in your throat, to share everything you have to share with love, with goodness. Again, from the Christian tradition, there's this belief that three things will remain: faith, hope, and love, and that love is the greatest. And if we do and accomplish without love, what good is it? Now, I believe those teachings. I believe that to be true. I've seen it in my own life. I've seen it in our nation. Love can mean a lot of things. It doesn't mean being quiet. It means telling the truth. It doesn't mean stepping back all the time. Sometimes it means stepping forward. Sometimes it means stepping aside. Sometimes it means stepping over. So there is work that we all have to do, but we ask that you will do it with love in your heart and that love in your voice. So will you share that love and will you join us? We know these days are going to be difficult. We know that this very moment is something none of us wanted to see happen. In fact, maybe like me, you're not watching the inauguration. You don't want to see Donald Trump say things about his commitment to the Constitution of the United States that we know he didn't keep in his previous administration, and we know he has no intention of keeping now. In fact, if his promises are true, he will be a dictator on this day. And in this country, we don't support dictators. We don't vote for dictators. We don't watch dictators, and we don't stand with them. So today, we will stand as a nation. We will stand as people of faith, hope, and love, doing all we can to commit ourselves to the goodness that this country can have and to protect those who will be impacted by this administration. So we're with you. We'll be with you every day. We're not sure what it's going to look like yet and how many days you'll hear from us, but it will be a lot. And we need you, and we ask you to join us. So thank you for being a part of Vote Common Good. And if you're new to us, please find us at votecommongood.com. That's where you'll see work about 1,461 days of engagement and action. And that's where you also can sign up to be on our communication stream. If you're watching this on Facebook or on Instagram or on TikTok or anywhere else, thank you for being a part of it. But if you're not watching it on YouTube, we'd ask you to join us over at YouTube. That's the place we're trying to build our biggest audience. So thank you for being a part of our work. We look forward to 1,461 days of action. And just think, tomorrow, there'll be one last day of the Trump administration. And each day that will be true. So we will work each day knowing that we get closer to the end of President Donald Trump's impact on this country. Thank you for being a part of Vote Common Good, and love one another and love yourself.